Hello, Rosemary. How are you?
Hello. Hi, Laura. It's great to be here.
Yes, I'm happy we made it work, and thank you for agreeing and coming to this meeting together on a holiday.
Yes, it's a holiday weekend in
The
Ireland. So
holiday. So, what is the holiday in Ireland today?
it is, May.
May. I love it. I believe May 1st in Egypt, where I'm originally from, is also a holiday, but it's Labor Day, I think, in Egypt. Uh, but uh, but we are Hardis, we don't stop.
Yeah, I know. But we also got an extra bank holiday due to COVID for St. Bridget. She got an official day. So now we have St. Bridget and we have St. Patrick. So a bit of equality for women. It took a long time.
Amazing, amazing. So, for anyone listening here or in the future, we both are entrepreneurs slash solopreneurs. We don't have like a big team, but I have my business in coaching and coaching executive leadership and also helping people transitioning who want to start their own business or a side hustle, which I think today in this AI world, it's something everyone should have and be ready to be protected. In case AI comes after our jobs, we are not in La La Land. So, Rosemary, tell people about your amazing work and your specialty in LinkedIn, the LinkedIn Queen.
Thank you very much. What I do, firstly, who do I work for? I work for service providers, health and well-being, and for the neurodiverse community. And how I help them is really is the learning doing gap. Because you mentioned AI, so people can go to AI and they can learn all kinds of gets lots of information, and they also can go to Google and get lots of information, and they can get so much information. Is how do I actually get started, or you get bogged down. So where I come in is to simplify that. And how do I simplify that and help my clients? I firstly offer workshops and I do a monthly free workshop teaching different things. And this month it will be about the updates about the algorithm. And then I also am starting questions and answers so people can come with their specific question. Because even to me, it's a win if you come with your one question and then you understand the answer and then you actually do it. That's a win. And then there's the other level of how I help people is because a huge amount of people have a huge problem with clarity. Because if you don't have your clarity right, you don't understand what you need to do, why you're doing it, and so I help people with their clarity because you need to get your clarity right for LinkedIn. Then obviously I help people with profiles. But at the end of the day, why are any of us on LinkedIn? We're in on LinkedIn to get some business. That's the
Right.
reason. So then the next stage is I help people put together campaigns, etc., so they actually get business because that is important. And all that is done through training. And I really, really enjoy. And I love when people have that Yahoo moment when I got a lovely message earlier today about someone I was helping. And it was, you got me thinking. So, and that was a compliment coming from them because when they start thinking, they start putting things together.
That's
So
amazing.
that was changing from the too much information. Now they're in the doing process, and that's what I want.
Yeah, there is definitely information overload because you can go into a loophole, looking for something or a rabbit hole from what AI can tell you, from what you can find, by researching and Googling. And it's hard sometimes to know what will work and what will not work. And you hear
Yeah,
lots of,
and things gets Laura so out of date because, like, even a lot of people still think if you actually, before you post on LinkedIn, just put comments in and everything else, and that will help the reach. It doesn't. But
Oh.
there's a lot of people still think that. And it has just changed so
Mm.
much in the last year. And even one thing that you work with authors and thing, it's gone up 10% of because they brought it in that we're all being ranked about topics.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
gone away from it being about people or our networks. It's more about topics now. And people talking about writers, authors, and leadership content in that area has gone up 10%. And another area which you probably would find very interesting, and I can't remember the stat, but another area people are talking about is about burnout at work and everything else. That has gone up
Mhm.
as well. And then there's the ones that have gone down. Funnily enough, one has gone down is about people's interests and people talking about sales, for which is one you'd be surprised that it has actually gone down. So it's very important if you're working on LinkedIn to actually understand also what the trends are and how those trends can affect your business. For example, with me, I work for in the neurodiversity community. And one of those things that has gone down is people talking or people being receptive to if you're talking about inclusivity. But
Oh.
then the one about burnout and everything has gone up.
Mm.
So maybe you just have to rephrase how you talk about something because you could be rephrasing it that you can get burnt out as a consequence of,
Right, right.
and then you're in the right topic. Where if you just use the words inclusivity, you're talking in a downward spiral on people's interest at the moment, because it's
No,
very important to understand those things.
yeah, no, that's beautiful insights. But burnout is a topic, obviously, that has been talked about for years. And since the beginning of the pandemic, it kind of took a rise in popularity. It's still going, and I balance in my coaching practice and also in my personal life because you have to apply these things to you because we are working the same like everyone else and working for ourselves, which tend to kind of sometimes push you to work more. But burnout and resilience, like so how to manage your life, how to protect from burnout, and how to recover if you feel like you're getting close. And I heard you this morning. You went for a walk in the forest, so that's
Oh yeah, yeah,
one
and
way
we've
to yeah.
lovely bluebells at this time of the year. It's lovely.
That's amazing, yeah. So we have to, and this is for us as human beings, and for our clients and friends, in that to be watchful for the signs of exhaustion, signs of boredom. Sometimes, like you feel like I cannot do that anymore. I've done that 10 times before. These are like sometimes red flags, and know when to stop and go for a walk in nature, go and see the beauty of the flowers and the plants. And nature is a big healer. And I like to use that personally and advise my clients to do it as well. But back to LinkedIn and all the changes that LinkedIn, what is driving maybe all that changes and tweaks to the algorithm? Like what does the leaders of LinkedIn want from the platform?
Okay, what they're trying to do is kind humanize it, or the way we will deal with things as humans. So now on your profile, you're better just have one core thing. If you go and look at my profile, you will see I talk about LinkedIn.
Mm.
And then obviously I might talk about different approaches of LinkedIn and that kind of thing. But if you met someone in the real world and they were describing their business and they described a whole load of different things, you would then come out of it and say, what do they really do? You'd actually be confused. So think of your profile as your website. You want it to be very clear and stand out what you do. And also, one place that can be very higgledy-piggledy for a lot of people is their featured section. And you have a post that you did well, so you just clip that onto your featured section and something else, or maybe something you did ages ago is totally outdated. Where if you look at mine, I just have two things because there's two things happen on LinkedIn. Number one, there's people who will just want to follow you, then get to know you, and then, oh, yeah, I like that content. I'll join their newsletter, might be a next stage. So on mine, I just have subscribe to my newsletter and my features section. And then the other thing is, there's people that are warmer, have been on the journey a bit further with me, and they can just join me for to schedule a call. Questions and answers. I just say question and answers because that is, because obviously when people schedule a call with me, they have a question and they'd like an answer. So it's just simple and clear. Like if you're on a website, you want it simple, clear, concise, because if it isn't, people get distracted very, very easily. And if you're not clear, they will go to your competition or elsewhere, or
Right.
they'll get distracted by someone else's post on a totally different subject.
Distraction is very easy. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're focusing, LinkedIn are focusing on our interests and they're putting us in with clusters of people talking about our interests. Like, obviously, in my case, that would be LinkedIn. Your case, that is leadership.
Yeah.
So that's very, very important to understand. If you put too much in, then what actually happens, the way the algorithm works now, that every time if I started talking about a subject completely separate, like I know how to create websites, but if I started talking
Yeah.
about websites, then the algorithm has to relearn.
That's a very good point, actually. That is a question as well, because I see many people, and I had it at one point. I think I changed it later, where you put your first, say, focus area of focus, and then you say, "I'm a speaker" as well, because you speak, and you can say, "I'm an author" or "I'm working on a book," because that's part of what you're doing, and it's a big thing. But you're saying no, don't do that.
Keep it simple. Keep it Get people in the door with one thing because on a Zoom call you can introduce something else. But from the point of the algorithm,
Mm.
keep it simple, keep it clear, because then the more it understands you easily, the more it'll rank you, and then the more that will help you be found. But that just not does not just apply for your profile. So when you are on LinkedIn and you are talking to people and everything, your profile shouldn't be saying one thing. And then you go and book comments in and you're talking about things totally unaligned. So everything on your profile, when you're commenting, etc., you want it to be aligned because your comments also get ranked,
Okay.
and they also get ranked in AI. What we talk about on LinkedIn goes on into AI search engines. So obviously, if you you aren't strong at something, you're just talking with diluting yourself too much, that's going to affect that. And Reddit is number one, and then LinkedIn is number two.
In search engines, Reddit is
AI,
number one.
AI,
AI.
yeah,
Wow.
how
I
it
do
ranks.
see, yeah, I do see a lot of when I search for something, Reddit come up first, but I never quite connected the dots. That's
Yeah, like if you go and even search someone you know
yeah,
in AI and see what comes up, because that is a search engine as well. And obviously, Google is going down from that perspective. So it's important to understand all these things. But if you're business, you want to be found
love that. So in the
for a
past, I
business.
used to tell my clients, Google your name and see what will come up. So now we need to say AI your name.
Oh, you do. Like you need
Yeah,
both.
right. Yes, yes, yeah.
Um,
With
you,
you, yeah.
and it's important to understand how they work. And obviously, it's important on how you post, how you say that you're going to be professional, because you don't want to be putting some comment that comes up in AI if it's not appropriate and a good
Okay.
reflection on how you want to present yourself in business as well.
That's
So
very
remember that as
profound.
well.
That's very profound. So for anybody listening who cares about the reputation and what they are known for, we're saying here, stay focused and stay in your lane. Like if you're doing LinkedIn advising, LinkedIn strategy, stay in that lane. Avoid the temptation to comment on your friends' posts that are in areas that are not related because it can dilute your credibility and your
Yeah, it's not because there's also the social side, you know,
Mhm.
that in fairness, if you achieve something and I just say congratulations and everything else, that's fine. But your core thing is you need to be strong at something. You need to be helping the search engine to help you.
Got it. That's very good. And
And
projects
also,
also. Yeah, sorry. No, I jumped
yeah,
here.
and also remember you can with comments
Mhm.
LinkedIn on will show your post to X number of people on a whole load of different ranking factors. But equally, if you comment on other people's posts and their networks see what you're saying, you're giving yourself a bigger reach. And that reach is you have actually control on trying to direct it in a certain thing which the search or the algorithm mightn't put you in that area. So think intentionally where you actually want to be seen and where you want to be visual on or on LinkedIn.
Very, very good insight. So I used to kind of personally use that and advise to some of my clients who want to raise their visibility is to selectively post or comment on leaders they follow, like leaders or organizations they follow, because then you get a wider exposure. People know you. But here there is another layer that we need to add into that equation of that it has to be still related to your core topic. Like
Yeah,
don't veer away, from that.
yeah, as much as possible when you are commenting, think of your business positioning.
Yeah,
Where how do you want to be positioned? How do you want to be found? Because our positioning and how we approach these things will actually affect whether people will hire us and also how they want to hire us.
right.
That is very, very important. And how we comment affects all of those things. It's like I was doing a sales call the other day or it was an introductory call or whatever phrase we want. But that person also in said they were thinking of me for something else as well on a total, which was lovely.
Yeah.
But that was because of positioning.
Okay.
They were thinking of me for two things instead of one thing because of positioning.
That's great, great perspective. However, I will say most of the people I know, including myself, struggle with the word positioning. Like positioning has different meanings in different, I would say, industries or different perspectives. So do you want to kind of take a minute and say what you mean by positioning on LinkedIn?
Yeah, positioning is number one, like who do you want to work for? What outcome, if someone wants to come to me, what outcome will you give? Why should people go to you? What win can you give people? Because in business, there's two things we want. We want to save money, we want to make money, and we want to manage three things. And we want to manage our time well. So, can your business positioning give an answer to any of those things that will help people want to hire you, for example? What is your magic win
Yeah.
that makes you stand out away from your competition? And I'm not saying our competition isn't our competition all the time, because there are times we work with each other and everything. But why should I go to Laura? How can Laura make my leadership so much better that to help my business do so much better?
That's a very good point. I want to kind of triangulate here from this positioning perspective, which is great, to what some advice of having your origin story posted or either in your about section or even posting it like once a month, for example, to post your origin story so people can understand who you are, how you can help them, and kind of your core and how did you come up with the framework or what you stand for. What do you think about the origin story concept?
I think we're all different and we all have different boundaries on what is right for us. So, one thing I would say about that story, don't ever feel yourself under pressure that someone says you have to tell things that go beyond your personal boundaries. Because if that happens, you won't be confident. If you get onto a call or if you're trying to be something else, you're going to let yourself down, and as a consequence, you will not instill trust. So, what I would say about your story is it has to come from your heart, and that will tell you, okay, I this is what motivated me to do something. This is why I went. In my case, why did I go and learn LinkedIn? Why did I actually focus on LinkedIn? And then think of who you help. Think of your customers because they give you great answers for your story, because they'll tell you, oh, you really helped me that way. But think of what is unique about yourself. Don't your Laura's story.
Yeah.
Laura is originally from Egypt.
Yeah.
Laura does leadership. You have your story. Like even before we started the call, I had gone for a walk, and at the moment there's lovely bluebells, and I put that up on LinkedIn because when I go for a walk, it motivates me, it gives me ideas. That's me.
Yeah.
And and I'm happy to tell that story.
Yeah.
I'm happy to say I work for people with neurodiversity and I understand them so I can actually help them, and I understand we all learn differently. Um, and that's my story.
Yeah.
That mightn't be someone else would want to tell a story like that. So stand back,
Yeah.
think about who you are, think about what inspires you, what motivates you. They're the things. You don't have to tell the world absolutely everything.
Yeah.
Tell it in a way that you can actually after, do a LinkedIn post, speak to someone on Zoom, whatever. That story will follow you everywhere, like your favorite coat, whatever,
Yeah,
that you
yeah,
love wearing, and that it naturally,
yeah.
you feel just so different in this particular coat that it brings out the positive in you.
That sounds lovely. I want to honor your time, Rosemary. So I want to kind of start wrapping it down. Like if we are talking with somebody who wants to start their business or want to kind of position themselves as this person launching that coaching, consulting, or speaking business, or they are writing a book, what would be the three top priorities that they need to look at in their profile and adjust it to be ready to launch and be in the right positioning, the right profile to start their business?
Yeah. If someone goes to your profile, the first thing they see your photo, they see your headline. And remember your photo and your headline follow you everywhere on LinkedIn. If you're commenting, if you've a post, all kinds of places. So you want that to be very easy to understand. Who are you speaking to?
Yeah.
What do you do? And what results can do you create? What wins do you create? So that's one thing. Then the next thing is, and I actually was looking, I have a premium account, and I was looking at the analytics about profile, because on your premium account it can show you what people actually do when they visit your profile. And one area that people spend a lot of time in mine is the about section,
Okay.
because obviously in the about section, people want questions answered. Are you the right fit? What do you do exactly? I don't want to embarrass myself or get onto a call if you are completely the wrong person. So that's an area people do. Now, an area that probably you didn't think about is on those analytics, if I look on mine, activity.
Ah.
That comes up. That's number two. The
Mm.
about an activity. Now, that makes complete sense because if someone wants to harm me, they want to see what do you post about? Do I agree with your approach? Is there any proof on what you say, follow through, and everything? So, your headline, your about section, and don't forget activity.
Okay.
People want to see, are you
Oh,
consistent? What do you talk about? If someone's going to hire you, you know, are you how you represent yourself? Because that can be very important that people feel, are you the right representative for their business as well?
that's profound. I like that because in my master class that I offer once a month, we talk about how to set up your business. Like how to create a business that can thrive and help you rise and not get you working 24 by 7 and getting you over exhausted or burnout on trying to do too many things. And I discovered from my own personal experience that there are at least 5 things to get the building blocks set up, and that's kind of the core of what I teach in the master class, and then go into detail and actually hands-on do build these 5 pillars in the workshop. So it starts by having a landing page, like not a full-fledged website. Nobody today needs a very big website, but just a landing page, having a clear offer, like what are the services you're offering to your clients? Who is the potential client that want to work with you, and who you want to work with? Like you serve, say, women in entrepreneurs, maybe between the age of 45 and 60, whatever. but being clear on who is your avatar in a way, and then having a lead magnet and something that you're willing to offer for free for people to get to know you, like you, and trust you. And then the area where I felt like you're really the right person to share your knowledge is the marketing. Like, you cannot be in business without having a solid strategy for sales and marketing. And since we like LinkedIn, and we believe that LinkedIn is a great platform to meet like-minded people and people who want to grow and have ambition and want to grow their careers and their business, how can we leverage LinkedIn? And you are very generous to share that with us.
Yeah,
Thank you.
there's loads of ways to leverage LinkedIn. No, remember, an awful lot of people just spend their time on their profile and posting.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, to do business, you need to talk to people.
Mm,
Don't be shy. You're there for a reason, to build your network. But at the end of the day, if someone wanted to hire someone for leadership,
yeah.
there's a lot of other leadership people there. Okay, I'm not saying the billion people are active, and they're obviously not all lead in the leadership area. So, what makes you stand out? How can you prove the wins you create for people, or
Yeah.
the problems you solve for people? Because
Yeah.
I know for me, it's the or the doing learning gap. Because a lot of people in LinkedIn learn,
Yeah.
but then a lot of people have a problem with the doing. And if you don't do the doing, you obviously don't get the results.
Unaware. Yeah.
So,
Totally.
so yeah, so to, and also know your numbers,
Oh,
which is, I know we all hate numbers, but if we don't know, for example, if you send DMs, how many people do you have to speak to convert to business?
yeah.
And remember, circumstances, the environment changes for all kinds of reasons. And even the summer's coming, and, and people will take holidays, and that affects things and everything. So, and I say, get really, really excited about your analytics. I get more excited about what happens in my DMs, the conversations I have in my DMs, because what the results of those conversations are what makes LinkedIn worthwhile for me.
Yeah. We'll have another discussion about, tracking and data, but thank you so much for this information, Rosemary, and people can find you on LinkedIn,
Yes,
connect with you on LinkedIn, and ask you any other questions until we meet again and do more of a deep dive on tracking and the business side of
yeah,
like behind the scenes, behind LinkedIn and posting and DMing and all the other activities. Thank you so much. I'm sure we're going to be talking more in the future. Thank
yes.
you.
Thank you very much, Laura. Really appreciate your time.